Hey, how's it going, guys? What's going on? It's Tuesday. And it's really cool because it's not only just Tuesday, it is September 1st. So it is the beginning of our month. Can't believe that we're already in September of this insane year called 2020. But we are here, and it feels really nice. It feels fresh to have a new month, to aspire to new goals, try to focus on some different things, and get to really just hit reset on some things, and then continue to do the things that you're excited about. So I am coming on to this live. I've got to Ask Me Anything AMA today. I'm just going to come on here and have some fun. It is not structured, so I would love to hear if you're here. Hit me up with the hashtag live. If you watch this later, you know the drill. Hit me up with the hashtag replay. So I went ahead and already got the conversation rolling here because I know people are in different time zones on some questions to begin this conversation, which is what I would hope for. I'm looking for a conversation. So if you're here, let me know, and I would love to tango with you. So I got some questions from my people who are interested in random things, and some of them are really funny and have nothing to do with probably what's useful in this live, but I'll knock out the very first question that I got from Yasha. So just so you know, if you're here, your questions get answered first, so you get that priority. So let me know any questions you have, whether it's about business, whether it's about life, or branding, or something random, feel free to ask me. So the first question I got from one of my clients is, what makes you tick? And where do you get all this amazing energy and passion for branding? Where does that come from? So I thought that was a great question. Hey Tracy, how's it going? Thanks for joining me. Appreciate it. One of my fans told me to start wearing hot pink, and so I don't know. I just haven't picked pink as a color in a really long time. And so I just listened to what she said and showed up wearing these colors. I went and actually bought something. She wants to see me in a hot pink dress. So the question was basically, what makes you tick, right? So I'd love to hear in the comments while I'm explaining what actually makes you tick. And so actually, I wasn't doing branding up until this year. I had done some branding before on personal pet projects. I've done it, and I used to do it many years ago, but I always kind of treated it as a side business to my commercial interior design business. And then, you know, as this COVID thing happened, and I was looking for more opportunities that were digital, and honestly, I was getting a little bit burnt from interior design and how much sheer effort. I don't think you realize how much sheer effort goes into actually developing a commercial space. And after that, I decided to take an opportunity. I took a risk. I pivoted what my offer was completely. And so I started seeing much more opportunities for branding coming up in the marketplace, because with COVID, commercial real estate was decimated and people were looking for ways to launch their online brand. And I saw a huge market need when I saw the amount of people online trying to sell their services, especially on Facebook, and they did not have the professional presence of where they were actually at. Hey Yasha, what's going on? Just getting to answer your question here, and was just explaining that I didn't typically do branding. So the passion comes though the passion really does come from inside, and from connecting the piece of, I like this and care about this and love doing this so much that it literally fuses and puts fire in my veins. And I think some of that comes from being able to be out there and understand that I have a valuable contribution that I'm making to this world, and it's going to change people's businesses and lives. So when I think of my branding business, I don't think of a graphic. I don't think of a logo. I don't actually even use the word logo. I probably should, because that's what most people think of. But I don't use that word. It has nothing to do with the final brand identity piece, which by the way, it's not called a logo, it's called a brand identity. The reason why is if you're a logo, you're just a commodity and you're just kind of in and out. When you've crafted a brand identity, it's like the perfect shoe that just fits you really well. And so that's really where the passion comes from. Like, I love all things design. It excites me. I love color. I like fonts. I've liked all of those things. But the piece that really gets me pumped up is the fact that it connects to people, which I have a huge passion for. It connects to people, and then those people get to change their businesses from being able to leverage their branding because they don't even really know what it means. When I talk to most people, they think branding is their logo, and they're like, what does this have to do with me? Is it really that important? So yeah, let me know if you guys are here. Hit me with a hashtag live and say, hey, this is a Ask Me Anything. I'm keeping it really casual today. And I'm also going to just infuse some personality into this. I think sometimes I get so pumped up on what I'm talking about that I might come across really serious. I'm not really like that in real life. So I am excited about, let's see, why not? Best organic strategies in Facebook groups, skeptical of people selling their services. What do you mean, Dan? I'm confused by that. Tell me what you mean. So yeah, definitely best, okay, why not? Best organic. Okay. I think what you're saying, but if you can expand on that, Dan, I'll get to that. Hey, Christina, what's up, girl? Thanks for joining me. So this is a Ask Me Anything. I know you're also looking for some questions in your potential business. But basically, where does that passion come from? And so when you have passion in line and you understand what feeds you, I'm going to be totally clear and honest here. Like, most people are not actually fueled by money. I know that people seem to get excited about money. I know people tend to post about it. I know people tend to get a lot of likes and engagement when it comes to money. But every single person I have brought through my branding program, doesn't matter if they make $200K a month or they make $5K a month, their passion does not lie in money. So I will start you off there, that the need for money and the need for success and hitting certain levels of revenue. And I'm going to be totally honest. I saw one of my clients ask a question about money and what were some mindset limiting beliefs. And I realized I don't have any. I have zero qualms about making money, charging high ticket, charging what I deserve, and wanting to scale up in terms of revenue. And at the exact same time, what I get told over and over and over again in SS calls is that, and the ones that don't close actually stop and tell me. Sometimes the people who do close tell me later, they're like, yeah, I could tell you didn't care about the money. And I was like, I don't. I do know I have to charge what I need to charge. So I'm actually making revenue and actually making profit so I can turn this business into an actual enterprise, not just Bijal and her brand. I don't want that. I think it's boring, player of one. So let me start asking questions because your questions on here are going to take precedent. So let me see, let me go back. I'm going to just hop down to Dan real quick. Let me say what's up to people. What's up, Dan? I didn't say hey yet. Thanks for joining me. I've got David here. Hey, how are you, David? And I've got Christina. Okay, so again, if you're here, hit me with a hashtag live or hit me with a question. I really want to make this casual and make this conversational and just have a fun conversation. So Dan's asking, a lot of Facebook groups my potential clients are in are suspicious when people come in and sell pain services, okay, because, hold on, sorry, I didn't silent my phone. Really professional here. That's not what it's about. I mean, some days you don't have to have on makeup, you have to have your hair done, you just need to come on. Okay, so his question is, a lot of people are suspicious when people come in and sell pain services because most of these people have been screwed over by someone taking advantage of their desperation. Oh, okay. Well, I know Dan's offer pretty well. So Dan is actually a chronic pain coach. And I'm interested in kind of evaluating those words and thinking about that. If people have already tried something and it's failed, then you need to approach that type of avatar in a different manner. And so if they're suspicious because it's never worked before, the first question they're going to ask you is why you and why are you any different? And so I think in your instance, you want to show a lot of empathy towards that, actually. I think you particularly want to call out the elephant that's in the room and be speaking and coming from a place of like so much solid confidence in what your offer is and the fact that you can fix the issue, that you should be coming in and saying, man, it is so difficult when you are dealing with chronic neck pain or back pain and you have tried, all of these different offers and nothing has ever worked, and you're in the position now where you can no longer trust anybody. What do you think some of these options are? And start having the dialogue. Meet them where they're at before you dare bring up, I'm a chronic pain expert. You don't even want to go there. So you need to start where they're actually at, which is in complete disbelief that anybody could solve these problems. So first start by the commiserating and the empathy and call out the elephant in the room. And then just start to get a baseline understanding of what are the words that they're saying. What are the phrases that they're using? Have they done, oh my God, I can't think of it. The guy cracks your back, the chiropractor. Have they done acupuncture? Like, what are all the things that haven't worked for them? And then after you understand who they are and you're starting to make connections, consider it your own research and R&D period. So agree one-on-one, but this is group dynamics before people are even talking to me one-on-one. Sometimes even general engaging questions get deleted by admins. Okay. Well, I think then the other piece that you can sort of take it as is starting to understand if these groups are connected, if there's any other type of groups that could feed into what your avatar is. When it comes to your actual post getting deleted, that's going to come down to who the actual admin is and what your relationship with them is. And so without getting totally nuanced into the conversation, I would say that you've got to form a relationship then with the group owner. Like the group owner is hosting this group. I own a group. I host it. It is a lot of work, man. Like I put a lot of time into that. So if I see a post come in, which I've like only had one where I had to question it because my group is small and it's growing, you just want to befriend that person and you want to go in much slower. So you want to pace it out. The biggest things I see is when people come in and ask an enormous question. So maybe you ask the question in a very roundabout way. What are some of the things that you used to do in your 20s you wish you could do in your 30s? Start there. It's like one side step away from seeing if people respond based on pain. So I'm going to keep going here. I hope that addressed your questions. Lots of different ideas on how to work that, but that's what I would say is start with empathy. Understand where they're coming from and then build relationships, add the friends, and then on your personal page is where you get a chance to start saying acupuncture failed. Yeah, it has for a lot of people. It did for one of my clients, and here's a story of why. Okay, moving on to David. David said, what do you think about tattoos and branding image? Okay, I think I've actually seen one of your lives. So David, remind me again who your avatar is. So in the world of Facebook, the concept of having tattoos is completely different than what it is in corporate America. So I really got to understand who your avatar is to tell you. And I'll tell you honestly, and I don't have any tattoos. I just was never cool enough to, like I wasn't brought up like that. I was like the nerdy Indian girl. But I do understand that it sends a certain message. So we could either play that up or play it down. But we do have to craft an identity around it. And most importantly, rather than you having tattoos or not having tattoos, it is how is the person who is your avatar, how are they going to receive you? And so like today, for example, I don't do this every day because that's not a part of my brand. I have on some lipstick. I put on some contrasting earrings, and one of my clients said she liked me in hot pink. So here I am, curated. And I do that because I want to convey really clearly that I understand brand colors and I understand how colors can be put together. So I will put on some really different looks. And I'll do classic looks. And this one's like obviously very poppy and bold. And so I'll play with those kind of things just to showcase to people that like, I understand colors really well. I know how to wear them, which means I know how to design for them. And it also meets their expectation that like you're a designer and you should be like dressed up. But as a part of launch in my brand, I'm kind of like a keep it real, tell it like it is and be authentic person. That's who I am at core. And I also believe in the value of accepting people for who they are. And so I know sometimes that if I come on dressed up and my live every single time, I can also come across like I'm always polished and it's always important for me to look perfect. And I don't think that is a smart brand strategy either. It's not for me. It's not for my avatar. That's not the type of people I'm looking to attract. So even on my client calls, I would say 70% of the time I'm dressed up and I like look nice with makeup. And the other 30%, I do let them see me like bags under the eyes, gym clothes on. And I honestly can tell you, they take a deep breath a lot of times and just say, man, I didn't get dressed either. Like they're just so excited to see me as a normal human being. And that's super important to me. So David is saying, so keep dropping in the questions here in the comments, and I will hit those up. Mostly solopreneurs with lots of problems around mental and health and wellness. Okay. I don't think, honestly, for you, I think that you would probably want to experiment with the earrings piece. I know you didn't ask about that, but I'll just throw that out there. The earrings piece either on or off, because what you might end up doing is attracting somebody who likes to dress more alternative. And you may not even notice that, but you might attract those type of people. And so what I would say is that you'd want to play around and see like earrings on or earrings off. Does it make a difference? I think the tattoos, not as much, but even then I would start when I'm getting on SS calls, especially with people, I would always plan to be on the more conservative end. And once you make them a client, David, I want you to start watching how they show up dressed up. So if you have a client who wears like I don't even know what they're called. See, because I'm not cool enough. Like the big earrings and like has that kind of alternative like look, go for it, But if you have a client who is like middle-aged mom from Idaho, I can't say it. Wyoming. Let's pick Wyoming. Okay. If you have a middle-aged mom from there who's dressed very conservatively, I think it's important to reflect that when you're on those calls and play around, see what your audience responds to. Because even then, when people don't know you, they will default to how you look and what you're dressed. So that is an unpopular thing to say because we are in the motion of everyone loving everyone and everyone accepting everyone for who they are and all of that. But I still want you to make business. So at any point in time, I want you to get business going. So get your business first and then dress the part of what makes sense. After you've hit enough of a business, show up however the heck you want. You know what I mean? Okay. Iowa. Thank you, Ruthie. Don't ask me what's happening here. Apparently I don't know the states of America. So okay, so hopefully that answered your question, David. Let me know if you have nuances to that and I'll expand on that. Christina wants to know, how do I become a millionaire, a happy one? I don't think it's actually as hard to become a millionaire now. If you're in your 30s or 40s, it's not as hard now as it used to be, like when we grew up. I think now it's hard to become a 10 millionaire. So, into the double digits of being a millionaire. Understanding becoming a millionaire is understanding that you must change as a person. From 0 to 10K, you got to be a certain type of person. From 10 to 20K, you have to be a certain type of person. You have to change. From 20 to 50, there are these stepping stones that are in place that every person passes. I don't care what your industry is. I don't care if you make crafts for people. I don't care if you sell SEO or Facebook ads, whatever your jam is. Those stepping blocks challenge you to change as a person. And that is one of the hardest, most painful things to experience, because it is not show up at a store and try on the suit and be like, does it fit me? Oh, it doesn't? I'm going to go get it adjusted by a custom tailor. Having to change to actually meet each of those steps requirements requires inside digging and work. And a lot of why the 0 to 10 jump doesn't even happen has to do with self-worth, and it also has to do with money mindset. A lot of money mindset issues. And then beyond that, the framework of how to solve people's pain problem, show up for them, and deliver and sell, those are all teachable. A lot of that is teachable. Your offer, somebody can hop in. I actually do offer training, offer an avatar training as a part of my brand coaching, because I realized I had to. I thought I was going to come in and just work on people's branding, but they would come in and I was like, oh, oops, no, we need to like adjust here, tweak that there. You're not showing up for your avatar. You said your avatar was this, but that's not really your right avatar. So we have to adjust some of that, and then the branding makes sense and pulls the rest of the weight. So honestly, becoming a millionaire, it's just mindset. It starts with mindset. And I also think for me personally, I think it's showing up and engaging with the right group of people. If you are surrounded in an environment where nobody's a millionaire, guess what? You are statistically very low chance of becoming a millionaire. So you've got to change your crowd. You have to change your crowd. You have to change your environment, and you also have to change literally who you're hanging out with. So I'm not telling you to cut out your family, anybody. I'm just saying that you don't need to be telling them your business goals. So that's changing your environment is one of the first ways that you can do that. And the second piece I'll say is it is 9 out of 10 times with the people I'm working with and people I observe, they are getting in their own way of making that million. They're actually getting in their own way of making the first 10, and they just don't see it. They have like a long explanation on why it hasn't happened and what they're going to do to make it happen. And the longer your explanation and the longer your plan is, the bigger chance it's not going to happen. It should be short, to the point, and clear. That's how you get there. Ruthie's saying my back is tattooed. Man, y'all are brave. I'm like still scared of getting a flu shot. I agree one-on-one. Okay, I got that. Great organic content topic. Okay, mostly going through here. Gauges. I don't know. We'd have to ask David. This could work well with recovering addict type of audience. Former or current alcohol and drug addicts would be attracted to that look. That's probably true. I would agree with you, Dan. It's just that is a harder audience to have that high ticket pricing, because a lot of times when they have already gone through the recovery piece, I would say 90% of them have completely, if they were intensely an addict, they have gone through all of their financial means and they owe a lot of people money. So that's a difficult crowd to sell high ticket to. I use my personality and presence to disqualify people. Now that absolutely works too. David says I'm actually from Iowa. Okay, good. I wasn't even trying to say that. I was trying to say Idaho. Thank you, Idaho. That's what I was trying to say, but I didn't understand it. Okay, so here's Aaron. Cool. Aaron Cartwright, a buddy of mine. Happy birthday, Aaron. I saw it was your birthday. I'm super excited for you, man. If free provider of valuable education is part of one's brand, yep, got it. Would the best approach be to let the opportunities to educate people develop organically, or would it be better to reach out to various channels, podcasts, radio shows, and other content creators and strike deals with them to put your content on? Both. The answer is both. You have to first start with organic traffic so that you're building a name and a reputation for who you are. And you're starting to build your own audience. Even if that's like your mama showing up on your live, like we got to go with that. Like we have to go with a small group of people on your personal page who can expect you to be showing up. Like I am here today, right? Like honestly, I took like 3 to 5 deep breaths before hitting the button. Like even I do get nervous. I am less nervous actually when I'm live in person. I'm less nervous. But I just keep showing up here. And so what you want to do is, in addition to your actual, and I know you personally, I guess I do now, we're Facebook friends. So you want to, in addition to your fan club, which is like your friends and families, which is great, they're super supportive, you also have to get in front of your avatar and have them be a part of your friends. So I don't know if you guys know this, but Facebook literally, once you hit 1,500 friends as a count, pushes up all of your posts higher up in their algorithm. So if you have less than 1,500 personal friends, your content is seen by only like 10% of people. So Aaron, that's what I would recommend for you. Definitely start looking for opportunities. I mean, you're a lawyer, you have a good personality, like you're funny, like there are podcasts that would take you on. And I think that there are Facebook groups that are actually surrounded around finding podcasts for people. But I would also do for you is, when you're talking about your specific niche, I would actually be going to your industry partners and be talking to those people and finding their channels of what podcasts they have, if they're doing Facebook Lives, if they're doing Instagram and Insta TV. Those people are literally dying for content. And so if you ever see a group or an organization that you want to get in front of their audience, that's the person that you want to start approaching. And you'd be amazed, Aaron. People are so tired of coming up with content. They are looking for people who are comfortable, camera ready, and like going to be able to produce something on camera. So that's what I would say there. I know that you've done organic for a while. So yeah, I think podcasts and radio shows and stuff like that are absolutely a way to go. And definitely something that would help for people to know you as a personal brand beyond your business brand. I think that's the step that you're trying to get to. I know you're asking Bijal. Okay, cool. So Ruthie is responding. Most people make the mistake of thinking that opportunities will just show up. They don't really, not consistently. And once you build yourself up as an authority, you'll be known better. Authority marketing is my area of expertise. Yeah. And go Ruthie, because you just got a keynote position. So Aaron, I would definitely connect with Ruthie. She has got a passionate spirit, and I think y'all would be friends anyway. Okay, so what's an avatar? So avatar is, in all of online business, is basically the movie. It's pulled from the movie Avatar, and it's basically you visualizing who your ideal client is. So they call it ideal client avatar, ICA, or sometimes client avatar, or just avatar. So unless your family is horrible. Got the tats. Okay, so ideal client. Okay, deep breaths before every button. Okay, glad that was helping here. Okay, so I'm going to get back to some of these questions. Let me know if you guys have some more questions down here. I'm happy to jam with you and see what's up. I'm going to read through some of the other questions I have. So one of my friends from Florida asked me, is it great to be a Florida Gator? Yes, I am a Florida Gator. I went to college in University of Florida in Gainesville and actually studied computer science. So I know Yasha was asking me what gets me hyped up about branding. Well, once upon a time I was hyped up about computer science and rocked it there, and then decided that was way too boring of a field, and then hopped to interior design and did that for like 15 years. And then now here I am doing branding. So you are talking to somebody who has a lot of passions, I guess. But I think the difference is taking that passion and focusing in on one passion and then monetizing that. Because if you do not monetize your passion, it is a hobby, people. It is just a hobby. Okay. So here we go. So Felicia's on here. Hey, Felicia, how's it going? So I'm friends with Felicia's husband, Edward, and he is a lovely person. And I'm excited because now I'm friends with Felicia and she's a part of my group. So I love this online world of connecting and making friends. And so Felicia, you had asked me in the previous post, you lived all around the US. Does it matter where you live in terms of online business? And so, yes. So the question is, yes, it does actually matter where you live. And these are my personal opinions. Obviously, it's my personal page, but my personal opinion is that if you are, for example, and I'm Indian, so I'm going to just go right there. I'm going to get right to the crux of it. If you are Indian and native from India and you are trying to sell to an American market, it is going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. You are, unfortunately, have been drowned out by all of the other people who have shown up in a very salesy way and in a like get rich scheme kind of way. And so unfortunately, you have to cut across all of that noise to be professional and be respected and be trustworthy. And so that is one of the biggest things that I see amongst when you're talking, Felicia, about where do you live. Some countries get thrown into a stereotype of like, man, every time somebody reaches out for me from India, it's a guy trying to like hit on me, or it's somebody trying to sell to me or whatever. And so the most important thing about what you're talking about is cultural. It's understanding just because we're all in a digital space, we still live and breathe and we're brought up with societal expectation. So our cultural norms, how we speak to one another, how we even sell, and how we come across, like for example, in Indian culture, Felicia, in Indian culture, bargaining is fun. It's like so much fun. Like I remember going to India and I was getting married and I was like negotiating with the guy on how much my saris were going to cost, like in our native tongue, going back and forth and pretending we're going to like leave the shop and then walking back in and them coming and grabbing us and all of that. And it is exciting. And at the end, we're all friends. We're drinking chai together. We're laughing. We're like, man, she's a hard bargainer, you know? And it's so much fun. And that is how the culture of India is set up. So if you come in there, if you were an American coming to India, they love you because you're not going to bargain. They tell you it's 500 rupees and what do? You're like, bust out your wallet, 500 rupees. So when you're an Indian and somebody tells you 500 rupees, you're like, you're crazy. I'm only paying 200 or nothing. And then they walk out the door. So, culture is very important when you're talking about what you're selling. And I think I understand you're selling coaching. Drop me in the comments exactly what you're selling and I can add some cultural comments to what that is. But I believe you're selling coaching. When you're talking about coaching, depending on whether it's life or whether it's business cultures in America or in the UK or in Australia still operate differently. So can you be successful from being overseas and selling in different parts of the world? Absolutely. It takes some momentum though. So you're going to want to first build up like your generally local credibility. And then beyond that, once you get to that point, you're going to want to set yourself up as being an expert in those areas. And so you might need to bridge the gap by joining certain entrepreneurial groups that are focused in those areas so you can see how do they talk, what are their common issues, what are the words they use. Like I actually have two amazing VAs full-time from Philippines. They're rock stars. They're so overqualified, so good at their job. We click really well, but there are still some words that they use that I don't use. Like they actually sound way more polite than I do. So I told them, I was like, hey, listen, when we're posting content on Instagram, we can't talk like that. Like, that's not even how they're going to meet me on the phone and be like, man, all your posts were so like polite and used all these extra words and we don't really use those. So I think even just using the person's words so you can connect with them. And more importantly, you're getting into their head and understanding exactly what their pain point is and how. If you understand their cultural background and you know how to speak to them in that way, then you're going to be able to solve those problems. Remember, it's three things. It's KLT, know, like, trust. So knowing somebody and being from the same cultural idea and understanding and saying you're going to get me is important. So Felicia, if you're selling to corporate America, you got to tell me you understand corporate America. Do I care that you are in Romania? No. I don't care if you're in Romania. All I care is that you have coached people who are in corporate America and you've gotten them results, or that's some other proven way that you understand what corporate America is. So that's the first thing you'd want. If I were you and I want Americans, I would be coaching Americans, finding them, showing up in their groups and talking like them. And even if it's lower ticket, I know I said the word lower ticket. You can hold me accountable. The one time I will say lower ticket on my live, because I am a big believer that you should charge what you're worth and some. Charge lower ticket, get those people in the door and get some awesome raving testimonials out of them. And understand, ask them as a part of the deal, I'm charging you less. I really want to understand corporate America, American culture, and like what you're specifically struggling with. Try that for 3 clients. You'll be in a so much better spot. And literally, you only need to do something twice before you're an expert in it. It's kind of how it works. You do something twice. You have 2 American clients. Now you know American clients. 2 Australian clients. Now you know Australia, you know. It's much simpler than you think. So, oh, thank you. Felicia says she loves my powerful colors. I'm getting a lot of comments on this. Going to be buying more pink shirts, people. Nerds Unite, Coder Girls. Monetize your passion so it's not just a hobby. Gold. Yeah. Interior design used to be my hobby. And then I had to ditch my computer science career. And so then I at least had to make money doing what I'm doing here. Hey, Daniel. Thanks for joining. Hi, how are you, honey? Happy Tuesday, Bijo. Do I need to build a second personal page for clients? I have been a public figure for many years at the 5K limit on mine now. Hey, Chuck. Glad to have you here. No, you do not need to build a second personal page. Actually, what that does is it creates a discrepancy because people who see this Chuck will also be notified that there's another Chuck with the same last name with a similar picture as you who's showing up. So it kind of actually makes you look like your profile's been hacked. What you can do though is out of your 5K limit, there are actually automation tools, which Yasha could probably tell you more of than me, but I would go through that list, dude, and it is time to start filtering people out. Time to cut the fat. So, like your friend from high school who like you knew 20 years ago, like you don't need to be friends with him and his wife anymore. You know what I mean? Hit that unfriend button and they'll still be following you after. And I don't mean this to be crude. I mean this to be like, you do have a 5K limit and you want to reach more people and they should be able to reach you too. And so if you've already gone through a set of people and they're not commenting, they're not engaging, they are literally taking up dead space in your platform. So that is what I would do. And I also, if you're at that point, buddy, like I hope you have a group. You should absolutely have a Facebook group for sure, because that's your personal place to get together people who are Chuck fans, who can be a part of your group, and they can also get to know you beyond just the client piece. I think that's really important for brands, and that's why people come to Facebook for business. They want a person behind the business. They may not say that during your strategy session. They want to know an actual human being cares about them and is going to show up that way. Let me know if you have more questions on that, Chuck. I'd love to have some context. That's a lovely story. That way goes in Greece and Turkey. Oh yeah, I had a good friend of mine is actually Turkish, and she was explaining to me the whole Turkish culture and like how they're like straight to the point. And when we were talking about her even translating from English writing into Turkish writing, it wasn't her English that was a problem. It was her tone of voice. Like her tone of voice, she's already a strong female, super smart, doctorate, and she was coming across extremely sharp, a little bit demeaning, like overly aggressive, like, I'm going to tell you like it is, like slapstick. And so I had to tell her to tone it down. I was like, listen, you're smart, but you got to smile because you're like super smart and you're going to scare the heck out of some people. So like, let's take it. And she was like helping women with breast cancer. If you're on here, hey. But she already knows this because she can take feedback. So she had to change and tune her tone and persona when it comes to who her cultural audience is. So that's something we talked about. And I think Turkish culture is actually very similar to Indian culture. Okay, so Danielle is asking, so for testimonials, running a beta program is okay? Yeah, absolutely. Who cares if it's beta or not beta? If it's beta, it's going to become alpha soon. If it's alpha, it could still suck soon. Like, it really doesn't matter. The whole concept of getting like hyped or talking yourself down about beta is in your mind. No one cares. No one cares. If your program is beta which sounds like yours is, Daniel, you need to show up and claim it's beta. You need to say it's beta, and that is why it is at this entry price, which I'm really excited to offer. Once I get in the first 3, 5, 10 people, that is going to close. Create a sense of urgency. And with your branding, with your brand point of view, you want to be honest about whatever you're doing. So if you're having imposter syndrome because you're beta, you're going to come across beta anyway. So say it, own it, have a laugh about it, and that's it. Like you're gonna bring in some people who want to be beta with you because they want to get in at that price. So do it. That's what I did that with people. I didn't even call it beta because I didn't even think I was going to offer this. I didn't even think I was going to offer branding. I straight up was like, oh, I'll do this in between until I get back into interior design. Here I am 3 months later in a completely different spot. Okay, so yeah, Yasha is just explaining, there's a Chrome plugin to get rid of friends. You can do it manually, Chuck, or you can do it this way. Okay, cool. And then let me know if you guys have any other questions, or I'm about to wrap up here. The last question I had from Aaron was, when am I going to come out with my book on brand creation and strategy? And I thought that was really funny because it was September 1, and I have this like morning formula I do every morning, and I write out exactly who I am and who the future version of me is. And within that, I had author of a like successful, I said like best-selling book, I made it sound really hype. And I had that in there for like a month, and then I went back and deleted it and said paid public speaker, because that just seemed more reachable to me. And I got a little bit afraid of like the concept of writing a book. Like, I'm funny, I'm energetic, and I'm not the best at grammar. And so I was like, oh my God, when it comes to writing a book, like I don't even understand, like, I don't understand how to explain sentence structure. So some of that are my own issues, kind of mindset issues in my mind that I will be working through, because I do see myself having a book. I especially want to have a book on branding because it's freaking done wrong. So many ways it's so done wrong. And that's why I have this business. As it drives me crazy seeing it done wrong. I have to just when I'm in some groups and people are like, do you love my logo A or logo B? And I'm like, slow scroll. I just have to scroll. I just can't handle it. And so I think it's really interesting, as being a commercial interior designer who worked for 15 years of corporate America designing office spaces for Fortune 500 companies. I understand how people work. I understand how organizations work. I understand emotional quotients of people. I understand how different departments do or don't get along, and how an environment can change how they play together. And I'm really interested, even because I haven't developed it yet, in how that concept and that thinking will overlap into branding, and how you show up and how you attract people and how you convince them of what you're showing up to sell. Because there's just a lot of overlap there that I don't think has been explored before, between interior design, understanding the intricacies of corporate America and organizations, and how people think, and how to get them to think differently. My entire job in corporate America was 25 people, see board, convincing them why we should do a certain design in their new headquarters, and how that design is going to change how people think, and how it's going to change how they work, and how they're going to be more creative. So, so I'm interested in that. So thank you, Aaron, for pushing me there, and coming to terms with the fact that I'm just kind of thinking out loud here, who freaking cares if I don't really understand verbs and adverbs and adjectives and whatever? Who freaking cares? And obviously I understand them as a basic level, but I don't have to be an English literary major to write an awesome bang out book on branding that has a really specific point of view, so I can reach bigger audiences, and so that I can have more paid speaking opportunities, so I can get out there, because I really enjoy a live crowd. That is so fun for me. I'm way funnier when I have a crowd of people. I don't know if it's nervous energy, but I bring out more of my personality. So I am going to work on that, and maybe I'll make it my plan by 2021. Why not? It's not like I can't make a second book or a third book. So thank you, Bijal. I have 41,000 on my professional page, 15,000 Instagram, YouTube subscribers. I really have not monetized. One of the main reasons I joined CK. Oh, Chuck. Chuck, you are like the classic, like, have a huge audience and just can't figure out what to sell. So CK, Client Kit, is going to help you do that. Going to figure out what to sell because you're probably getting in your own way. It's going to tighten up what your actual offer is because you probably have many things you're good at, and you're going to be an elite soon, man. You're going to sell the crap out of that. So I'm excited for you, but do get rid of the dead crowd who's in your Facebook page. And you know what? Start asking if you have that big of a fan base, Chuck, which I'm like totally envious of. It's so freaking cool. I wonder how much content you've put out there and how you've shown up to attract that. Start asking them what they want to see from you. Easiest way to do it. You've got tens of thousands of people waiting for you to offer them something and to guide them. So you're going to learn that though along the way. Felicia just says, thank you for exploring this with me. It's immersing into the culture. I really appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's like Facebook makes us feel like we're like all in the same room, all at the same time, and we can find commonalities, but it's after we have gotten to know each other. And that process is still different than when you're trying to sell across those cultural boundaries. And I love culture, man. I love it. That's why I've traveled extensively in my life. It's really one of those super fun things for me. So it's like getting in there, getting in their head. It's a little bit of a psychology experiment. So, okay, I am wrapped up here. Thank you for joining me. I think I've answered all the questions from where do I get my passion and energy from. And my husband told me last night, I was sitting there and telling him, I'm like, I have to go live tomorrow. And I don't know what my topic's going to be on. This is the kind of things I think about at like 10 o'clock at night. And he's like, honey, your passion is like a nonstop water fountain of flow. He's like, just go on there. You'll figure something to talk about and you'll be passionate about it. So I want to tell him thank you for encouraging me. And I want to thank you guys for joining me. So if you see this later, hit me with the hashtag replay and send me all the love emojis on here so I know you were here and it'll boost it up in the algorithm. And I will be back here next Tuesday to talk more things. All right, take care. Peace out. Happy Tuesday.